Welcome to this segment of the 76th National Folk Festival. The last few days we've been walking around trying to figure out what folk music is. I'll let y'all answer that. Best we figured out is just the music of the people.
That's pretty much it.
We've got Balsam Range here. This might be the best bluegrass band in the United States, y'all. I mean, this is pretty cool. Bluegrass music comes over to America from the Scots-Irish, right? They just sort of, from the beginning, Jamestown, it was right there. And it spreads out, and it kind of gets stuck in the mountains, the little hollows, the little valleys, and that's where it grew. Places like Haywood County and Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee. But we're right proud of the people that come out of North Carolina. My mom's a Western Asheville girl, so it's like we're all neighbors. But if you won't mind, just kind of pass the mic around and y'all introduce yourselves, and we'll just kind of keep it casual up here. If y'all have questions, jump right in. We're all together here.
I'm Buddy Melton.
I'm Caleb Smith.
Tim Surratt.
Darren Nicholson.
So where's Dr. Pruitt?
He was lost in transit somewhere out in there.
We got John Holder with us. He's our official sound man.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it without him.
So how's it been the last couple days here? Y'all been walking around enjoying the music?
I love it. It's been one of my favorite things we've done this year. It's really fun to be in such a different variety of music, and it's inspiring to hear different styles and to be the only bluegrass band and do our thing. But we did a workshop with some different bands, and did fiddle workshops and just touch different stylistic music here, and it's all great. You know, music is really a universal language anyway, and so to be able to communicate through music with all these other artists has been a lot of fun.
So you're all from Haywood County.
We are.
How does that happen? You guys grew up together, you went out on your own, and you end up back together in 2007, is that right?
Well, for the most part, we didn't all even know each other.
Wow.
Because as you might imagine, there's a fairly large age difference in some of us. It's not funny. But, one guy would know another two guys, and one guy would know another two or three guys. And we all live in Haywood and got together by, Darren and Buddy did solo records in, was that 06, I guess? 06, yeah.
06.
Yeah, 06, and a couple of us played on both the records, and we had so much fun doing those records. We decided just to kind of get together, kind of a combination of the guys that played on those two records, and turned out we all lived within 15 or 20 minutes of each other, and jammed twice and booked a show, and here we go.
That really is amazing when you think about it. Haywood County's not that big, but absolutely.
There's a lot of talent in Haywood County. There's a lot of great music that over the past 100 years, there have been some really, really fantastic singers and musicians come out of Haywood County.
Yeah. In the history of bluegrass in North Carolina, it's the history of bluegrass itself. I imagine, did y'all grow up listening to it exclusively, or what were your influences early on?
No, I grew up in a Baptist preacher's house, and my dad's a great fingerstyle guitar player, so he was a big Merle Travis and Doc Watson fan, and Chet Atkins. And my mother was a Jim Croce, James Taylor, Gordon Lightfoot, Leo Cockey, that sort of thing. So that's really what I grew up listening to, more of my mom's stuff than my dad's. I have a musical family. There are a lot of guitar players in my family, and I did not want to play the guitar. I started playing banjo, actually, and then went to mandolin, and then when I was 12 years old, I started playing guitar, and it was inevitable I had to be a guitar player. So, yeah.
So how about the rest of you? What did you grow up listening to?
I grew up listening to the Grand Ole Opry, WSM, out of Nashville, Tennessee. My dad, we listened to the radio every night. We didn't really watch TV. My dad played music, and in the mountains of western North Carolina, not just Haywood County, but it's you know, it's just passed down from generation to generation. A lot of times in the evenings, you just sit on the porch and make music, and there was a lot of that growing up. About everybody in my family played something to some level, but I grew up listening to Grand Ole Opry, and it's kind of like this folk festival because there was no difference between bluegrass and country music in our house. You know, my dad would listen to the Grand Ole Opry, and they'd play Hank Williams or George Jones or Vern Gosdin, Merle Haggard, and then they'd play Bill Monroe or Flatt and Scruggs and the Osborne Brothers. So, you know, country music and bluegrass are traditional country music. It's kind of comes from the same place, you know.
Yeah, all music sort of does in a way. I mean, Bill Monroe's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, so.
Yeah, I took my son to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this past month. He's into classic rock. He loves the Beatles. But we were in Cleveland, and so I took him to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there Bill Monroe's in there 2 or 3 times. They've got one of his suits in there, and so to see Robert Johnson and Bill Monroe in the early, you know, you say it comes from Scotch-Irish, but bluegrass is also, it has the blues influence, and so, you know, Bill Monroe kind of, bluegrass has elements of blues, has elements of country music, has elements of jazz and swing, and so that comes out with Balsam Range in our music. But that's the beauty of what he created in this folk festival here, is because you get to see how all of it kind of blends together.
Yeah. You talk about thin lines. I heard it described once that Southern gospel was the music that they were playing on Saturday nights, but suddenly there's that sliver of time between Saturday night and Sunday morning, and that's where gospel music was invented. So. Yeah. Do y'all care if you're described as a bluegrass band, or is it? What does that mean?
No.
What does that mean, really?
Well, we have a lot of folks that come up to us and say, you know, I don't really like bluegrass. I hate bluegrass, but I like you guys, you know. And so, bluegrass. I think there were some things, you know, like Flatt and Scruggs were on the Beverly Hillbillies, and of course Doolin Banjos from Deliverance. I think some people maybe have the wrong idea of what bluegrass really is, but it's not necessarily a negative thing. I mean, bluegrass, people, it's a fan music. You may not think you like bluegrass, but if you go see a really good bluegrass band live, like Blue Highway or Ricky Skaggs, you're going to like it.
Absolutely.
To see it live, because it's fun.
Yeah, it really is. You know, Buddy and I were talking a minute ago about all the places y'all have been, all the places y'all getting ready to go. I mean, you're taking it to the world now, right?
Yeah, we're fortunate because, and the most fun for us is to come to a place like this where it's not a totally bluegrass crowd. And that's fun to do anywhere. You know, we've been to Colorado a couple of times this summer, and California and Washington State. We're about to go to Europe in the spring. And it's fun to go to play to crowds that are not just taking a complete total diet of bluegrass music. That makes it's fun to convert people, hopefully. So yeah, it's fun to take it in different places.
And how often do you get back home? I mean, is home is home. You know, Haywood County, I imagine, is still your inspiration.
Oh, yeah, we're home every week. We usually that's the beauty of the world we live in now. For us, we fly a lot, so we'll go to Washington State, play 2 days or 3 days, and then fly straight back home. And you can do that all July. That's all we did. We'd fly to Colorado. We flew home. Flew to California. Flew home. And you know, and that's just it's much nicer than in the old days. 25 years ago, when I went to California, I was gone for 28 or 30 days. So yeah, I don't have much interest in that anymore.
The name Balsam Range. Did you guys wake up in the mornings every day of your life, and there they were? I mean, that has to be the inspiration behind so much of what you write.
Yeah, it is, and that name came from we live where the Blue Ridge Mountains meet the Great Smokies National Park, and that range of mountains is called the Great Balsam Range. And when we started this band 10 years ago, trying to find a name's challenging anymore with the internet. You think of a name and do a Google search, and somebody's got it.
Kiss was taken.
Yeah. So we just started thinking about, you know, that area is pretty much who we are. Everything we do those voices from the past are echoed through what we do, and so they live on through our music, and we are proudly taking that out to the world. And so we just thought, it's fitting to take the mountain range, which is the backbone of our county. It surrounds our county, and we just felt it's probably best to take the great out of it. And that might be a little bit pretentious.
Seemed a little pretentious to say Great Balsam Range.
But we took Balsam Range as our name, and it's been fun because we get to explain where that is everywhere we go, and by doing that we get to take our home with us and introduce our home to other people.
One of the great songs that you guys do, Paper Town, is it kind of brings a chill up on the back of my neck. From being sort of in that, I went to Western Carolina. My mom's from Haywood County, and Canton. People want to talk down about it. People want to talk about all the problems that it's had through the years, but it's a working town that really made a difference in those hills. And the song you guys wrote about it, here in tobacco country, we fight that image all the time of, you grew tobacco, you did a bad thing, but it gave people a life. It gave people jobs around here. That's just a beautiful song. Would y'all talk about that?
Yeah, that song came from a project. We got a good friend also from Haywood County named Mylon Miller that writes a lot of our music. Talented guy, and we did a historical project for the county at the bicentennial, and just trying to brainstorm about factual things of Haywood County. And what came to the center of that discussion was the mill and what it's meant to the community. And like I say, it is where everybody goes to work. It's a very tourist area as far as the beauty and the national park stuff, but for our home, and that is pretty much where the lifeline of our county. And it's been there through a lot of changes, and there's been a lot of scary times with the mill, maybe shutting down and selling and all, but it's the people are really what makes Haywood County great. And those people are working people, and we're proud to represent them. And that's what that song talks about. And it really represents a lot of people across this nation. I mean, this nation was built on hard-working people, and that's what's made this nation great, and will make it great, continually make it great. And so that's just our interpretation of the people we're proud of, the working force of Haywood County, which is it's pretty much the only industry we have now in Haywood County.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys? Where do you go from here? Do you set a schedule? Do you say we want to do this, this, and this, or do you just let it happen?
We have bucket list events that we've set, over the past 10 years, and a lot of those have happened. We've checked them off. Telluride Bluegrass Festival in Colorado and Rocky Grass in Colorado, Merle Fest here in Wilkesboro. But my big bucket list is to play Red Rocks Amphitheater. That's my big bucket list. But no, we have a new record coming out in the next month or so, and we're all excited about it. It's got a lot of cool stuff on it, all original music again, and it's a wide range, very eclectic group of songs, and everybody's featured like we always are. And we're kind of most of the time when you go see a band, there's one lead singer, and harmony singers. We have 4 lead singers in our band, so it's funny when we're on stage. I look a lot of times and we toss the lead back and forth, and they're confused. The people in the audience are looking. Who's singing? Who is doing that?
Cameramen hate it, don't they?
Yeah, cameramen do hate it. But the way that Balsam Range has, we've worked hard. We've paid our dues. We have worked hard. But a lot of the stuff that has happened has happened. And I think what we do is we have a good product, and people like our product. And we have fun doing it. We always have a lot of fun. We like each other semi-okay enough. And we travel pretty well together. we just have a good time, and we try to focus on having a good time. But there's also a lot of hard work that people don't see, you know. But it's worth it. I like what we do. I think we all like what we do, and creating music and taking it to as far as we can take it.
Bluegrass is not so much of an old style of music as it is an evolving style of music. It never really, I mean, I was listening to the song Last Train to Kitty Hawk, and that's what it says. I mean, yeah, the time's passing, but I was in Kitty Hawk a couple of days ago, and they've turned it into a tourist trap. They wanted $30 for me to drive in there. I told them, no, thank you.
Just flying.
I should have known. What do people ask you about home when you're on the road? What's it like to live in North Carolina? And what do you tell them?
Depends on what the news story of the week was. But we love North Carolina. We're proud of it. And yeah, people ask us all the time, what's it like? And they come to a lot of the stuff that we do from out of state. So that's a gratifying thing. We've, our area, Haywood County and western North Carolina in particular, is such a cool place. There's so much to do. There's so much to see, so much music of all kinds. Come to Asheville any day of the week, which is 20 minutes from where we live, and you can hear anything you want to hear, from church music to punk rock to bluegrass to whatever, you know. Drum circle, yeah. So, yeah, drunk circle, whatever you want to hear, we've got it. Yeah, yeah. Peyote party, whatever they do up there at the drum circle, I'm not sure, but anyway, people do ask about it and they come to investigate it. I think they're curious to see if, like we say, this kind of music, you grow up on it. The old time music is still a cool thing that goes on. Downtown Asheville, every Saturday night in the summertime, they have the shindig on the green, and it's not uncommon for them to have 10,000 people on a Saturday night listening to old time and bluegrass music. And it is. It's the oldest gathering like that of its kind anywhere. And it's very cool to have been able to get some degree of success when you can go hear it for free about any night of the week up there. So that's really a gratifying thing.
A lot of us grew up on the festivals down here, Union Grove and up in Galax and such. Is it still out there? Is it still like that out there on the road?
Somewhat. Yeah, we do a lot of festivals throughout the year. But yeah, there's a lot of that. Galax was a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I've never been to Galax. I wanted to do that. Buddy's been a couple times. But yeah, those things they're still thriving. Those festivals are still thriving for sure.
My first experience of a festival at all was Galax, and I started playing music at Western Carolina. Yeah. I never played before. I was in college and met some guys, and they said, "Oh, you got to go to Galax," and it changed my life really. I mean, it was a week-long festival of just literally staying up to see the sun every morning and crash for a few hours and get up and play again, and it's just such excitement in that. And it's still out. You see the folks walking around here today. The love of music is still there. It always will be. There's festivals that are declining a little bit, but at the same time, there's brand new festivals that are really taking off in the country. We did one last weekend that's going to be a great one. And so it's exciting to see new festivals start, and some of the oldest ones still is valid. But just like there was these youth kids playing around here this week, if you hadn't had a chance to see them, you all need to check them out. Fabulous musicians. So when you see these guys, these young kids, 10, 12 years old, that are playing better than anybody, you realize pretty quick that the music has a future ahead of it, as strong as it's ever been, and it'll always be around.
Do you have to pinch yourself sometimes? I mean, have you gotten so big? There's Balsam Nation out there now, right? Yeah.
I never wanted to be a big star, and so far it's working out real good for me.
We think we're really good till we hear folks like the Quaby sisters play, and then we realize that we...
Quaby, it's cold outside.
Well, guys, we really appreciate you dropping into Greensboro. This is special for us, and best of luck to you from here on out. Keep in touch. And
We're honored to be here. We get to go. We're very fortunate. We're lucky to get to go to festivals all over the country, and we have all had a blast at this. Greensboro's done a wonderful job. They've got a bunch of great music, and it's been an honor for us to be here.
Y'all are welcome anytime. Come on back.